Oh, I don't know where I am now. As you can see, a lot of preparation went into that. So, sorry, whilst I just prepare. Okay. It's quite apt, actually, that we've got the uniform groups here, because when I was a younger boy, which I know some of you are thinking, but Anthony, you look so young, how much younger could you possibly be? I know, these locks give it away. But when I was on a scout weekend away, it was a sailing weekend, and after we had done our sailing, one of the activities we did was a trail course. And so the instructor got us all there, handed us all a blindfold. We were a little bit dubious about this. And what they said was, right, you're going to put your blindfolds on, you're going to put your hand on a rope, and you're going to follow the rope until you reach the end. And when you get to the end, you can take your blindfold off. The condition is, you are not allowed to take your blindfold off at any point, okay? And keep your hand on the rope, because if you let go of the rope, you may not find your way back. So, there we were, one at a time, blindfolds on, and there we go, and as we started off. And so, hands on the rope, and I was a good boy, I did what I was told back then. And I went round on this rope, and forever I was going on and on and on and on, and a little bit like this preach, you'll think it's never going to end. And then I was going, this is silly, it's ridiculous. We go for miles. This can't be a big course. And so I put my hand up, kept my blindfold on, because I was told to keep it on. And the instructor came over and said, are you okay? And I said, yes, because I was. So he said, right, we'll carry on until you reach the end. So I took his advice, and I carried on, and I went round again. Here we are, we're going round this trail a few more times. Didn't bump into anyone, which was a bit odd. And then I got to the point, I thought, this is silly. I'm just going round and round in circles. I'm never going to get off, and I don't think there is an end. So again, I put my hand back up. The instructor came over, and he said, are you okay? And I went, I remember this from last time. And so I said to him, no, I'm not okay. And he says, do you need help? I said, yes, I do need help. Probably not the help he was referring to, but I was like, yes, I need help. And he said, right, well, let go of the rope and come with me. And he guided me away from the course a few steps, and then he said, right, take your blindfold off. And I took my blindfold off, and would you believe it, the rest of my patrol, they were already standing there, waiting, didn't say a word, just watching me going round and round in circles. I thought that was it, they're going to do the washing up later, I would get them. But also what I saw was there were other people still on this course going round and round. Some people doing what I was doing, putting their hands up, the instructor coming over saying, are you okay? They said, yes. And they went, right, carry on. And there were other people that I noticed who didn't put their hands up at all and were just going round and round and round and striving without asking for help at all. And we were blinded by something that we were told can never be given. Because at the beginning they said, put the blindfold on until you reach the end. Well, the problem was, there was never an end. It was just a continuous loop around like 4 or 5 drums, but fairly big and spread apart. I mean, I was young, I didn't realize that I was going around in a circle at the time. But within this chapter that we've just heard in verse 4, it says that Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Christ, who is the exact likeness of God. And we see this in our culture. We see people blinded, not wanting or not knowing the light of Christ. And so the result is that we work harder, people work harder, put all their effort in to trying to do things their own way, which then causes us to have higher stress levels because we are trying to do the impossible in our own strength. But when we fully put our trust in God, He will come through. I mean, that's what He's promised within the Bible time and time again. Put your trust into me. Lean not on your own understanding. Come to me and I will give you rest. And so an example of this and being our charity month, focusing on Harm Away Uganda, they held a women's conference a few months ago, I believe it was. Last year, was it? Oh, okay, last year, wonderful. Which is supporting ladies in developing sort of their small businesses and really encouraging and also, I think, getting them to have new skills as well. And so like many in COVID, it hit them hard and debts were starting to stack up and there was no way that they could pay the debts off. And so the only thing that they knew what to do was to pray. And they did. And so what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video, or just a very short clip, and this shows what happened at the conference after they prayed. So if you could show that. Okay, so that is their immediate reaction to hearing that their debt had been wiped cleared by Harm Away Uganda. Their debt was around about £10,000, which they had no way to pay off. They could not pay off that debt. However, Harm Away Uganda could, and they had the ability to step in and pay off the debt that was too great for the women to pay off. And so they knew that there was no way to pay off this debt, and they would just continually grow and grow and grow. Yet they fully trusted Jesus that he would come through and that he would provide. And so as soon as they heard the message that their debts had been wiped clear, their immediate response was what you saw there, which was praising Jesus and thanking Jesus that he has come through and that he has provided for them. And it's funnily enough, in the same way, Jesus wrote our debt off when he died on the cross. Because the debt that we owe is too great, it's too much, and we can never pay it off, but Jesus could. You know, it's the same way the women couldn't write their debt off, but Harm Away Uganda could. Jesus wrote our debt off because he's the only one who could. And these women have their eyes open to the glorious light of the good news, whereas we in the West have a habit of kind of living under a veil. And just to help with this, I need a volunteer. Yeah, why not? Come on up. You're first on it. Okay. Hello. Hello. What's your name? Etty. Etty. Nice to meet you, Etty. Etty, this is the congregation. Congregation, Etty, give her a round of applause. Hello. Okay. Do you have fairly good eyesight, Etty? Yeah. Okay. Can you see a gentleman at the back over there? Yeah. Okay. Could you describe his face? Or could you just describe him for us, please? What can you see? Tell us what you can see.
He's wearing headphones and glasses.
He's wearing headphones, glasses, yes.
And he's got a purple top on.
He's got purple top on, yes. Anything else that you can see?
He has hair.
He has hair. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, good. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a veil over you, okay? This is a veil. I was at a wedding last night, and apparently it's not the done thing to ask the bride for her veil. So I had to go with my own. So, right, pop it over there. Okay, now face back towards... Can you still see somewhat slightly?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, with the same person, can you see any descriptions? Describe what you can see.
Purple, that's all I can see.
Purple, that's all you can see.
Yeah,
so you can't see his face anymore.
I can see his hair, but...
You can see his hair, okay, but you can't see anything else, no? Okay, so it's a bit blurred, it's a bit blinded. So you can see better now?
Yeah.
Can't see better. See better now? Can't see better. Can you see at all?
Not like that.
Not like that. Okay, so if we're wearing if the veil is folded up too many times, you really can't see through it. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Go have a seat. Thank you. Okay. So although we may not be completely blinded, hence why we are here this evening, or this morning, sorry. As I said, I was at a wedding last night. Some of us are still recovering. And we all wear a veil at times, and the veil can look very different depending on where we are. It could be the allure of money, power, school and work politics, achievements, family life, sports, and so on. Just so many other things that it could be. Pleasure blinds us to the light of the good news. We start to focus on the things that we think matter and lose sight of the bigger picture, which is Jesus. And it says in the Bible that we have this light in us, which is the good news waiting to be shared with others. And I don't know what veil you are wearing today, and I don't know what might potentially be dimming your view of Jesus in his fullness, in what he can do in your life. But from my experience and from this whole chapter, when we catch ourselves focusing on the small things, and we really do end up focusing on the small things, because we can look back at it at a week time and go, or a month time and go, do you know what, I got really hooked up on this little thing, but actually, it doesn't matter in the bigger picture. Why was this small thing, why did this small thing hold me so tightly when it really is it's just nothing. It's really nothing. As Nick used to say, don't sweat the small stuff. And that's what we often do. And when we do catch ourselves, we look at the bigger picture, being Jesus, and things start to calm down because we put it into a perspective. Actually, is my gaze, is my focus on Jesus, or is it on something entirely different? And it is difficult at times to take off the veil. We get very comfortable wearing a veil. But Satan would love for us to keep it on, or to keep them on, because it keeps us from seeing the fullness of Christ and what he can do from us. And I mean, as I said, with this, it's quite easy. If it's a single sheet, you can still see me, yes? Yeah. I mean, I'm not exactly that difficult to see. But there you see. But over time, if we then start layering it up and layering it up, and layering it up, it then becomes really difficult, and I can no longer see through you, and you can't see my face, okay? But not clearly. So the more we layer up these veils, the harder it is for us to see God. God can always see us, quite right. You could see the outline of my face, right? So God can always see us, but it stops us from seeing him, because we put things that block us from him. There's nothing that blocks him from us. It's always things that block us from him. But when we come to take them off, like the women in Uganda, we are set free from worry, free from stress, whatever it is that we are going through. And in verse 18, it says, so we don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on the things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever. And it is difficult sometimes, because as humans, we go through some really difficult things, difficult trials. I know as a church family, there are some really difficult situations going on for individuals within our families. And it is really hard to not focus in on that, because it becomes all-consuming. And certain things, rightly so, it does. But we should never take our gaze off God. Because when we grasp the fullness of the good news, there comes a certainty that no matter what we are facing right now, God will not abandon us. And sometimes it feels like he has, and Jesus felt it the same when he was on the cross. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why have you left me? But he never leaves us. He never abandons us. And he can't abandon us because he loves us too much. For those of you who have children, you love your child. Sometimes you just want to squeeze them to, just give them a really tight squeeze and just love them so much. But no matter what they do, you as a parent will never stop loving them. And that is the same way with God. God will never stop loving us, because he will provide for us. And therefore we have certainty that there is life after death, because if we take the Bible seriously, then we can take what Jesus did on the cross as a matter of fact, and as truth, and as certainty. And all the time we walk around with the veil over our face, we will not see the fullness of God. For God said, let there be light in the darkness. He has made this light shine in our hearts so we can know the glory of God that is seen in the face of Jesus Christ. So take off your veil so that you can see the glorious light of the good news, which is Jesus. Set your gaze upon him and experience the fullness of life that he offers, the freedom he offers, and just like the women in Uganda experienced, how amazing he is and how he can change your life around for the better. Sometimes it's instantaneous. Sometimes it takes many years. And this experience for the women in Uganda was great, and no doubt that they had this wonderful experience of God coming through. But later on, they could experience something terrible. I don't know. But life is always up and down because as humans, that's how life is going to be. We're going to have highs and we're going to have lows. But God is going to be the constant through all of it. And as I said, I know it's not easy to remove the veil, and it may take time. And if you keep it on long enough, eventually you will get used to seeing things in that way, through a veil. But you will miss the fullness of what the good news has to offer. And so as we come to our next worship song, which is called Waymaker, and as we stand together, just allow the lyrics to really soak in deep, because they are really powerful lyrics. And it might just be worth spending some time thinking about what veil you might be wearing today, or if you're at work, do you put on a veil when you go to work? What is it that stops you seeing the fullness of Christ? What is it that stops you fully trusting in God? What is it that stops you kind of going, I'm going to put everything I have on Christ? You know, when I come to work, it's all going to be me. It's through my own strength. It's through my own energy. What if maybe you just went, God, I have nothing left. I am humanly empty of energy, of strength, and I just need your help. Maybe that might be the case for some of us here. So, as I hand over, do feel free to stand as we sing this next song. Thank you.
I suggest you either sit